Hi Capricorn, I hope that you guys are all doing well. We are here with a timeless reading. The first card that we have out is Two of Swords and Four of Pentacles. Okay. Seven of Cups. This feels like a time of in-betweens where it could go this way or it could go that way, like this sort of thing. It can feel like some stuff is up in the air as well. Okay. I do get you trying to rule something out or make sense of something and feel like maybe no matter what else you're trying to focus on, your energy keeps being pulled back into something that still hasn't been figured out. This can even be taking time away from other things that you'd rather be focusing on. Okay. You are going to get insight, I am seeing. So Two of Swords can be stuff that we need to see, decisions that need to be made, clarity that we're seeking that we feel we don't yet have. So you can be in a time where you can feel like you're on the fence with something or that you're figuring something out, but that part where it's actually figured out has not happened yet at this point. I am seeing Knight of Swords be connected with it. So what this means is that there's going to be further information that you receive that feels like it's going to push you in one direction or the other. So even though you can feel like you're in some type of in-between right now, I'm seeing that there's information that's going to come through and it's going to help you clarify that. So you're not going to feel like you're stuck between something anymore. What it also looks like too is that you may have been, Capricorn, holding on to something, but there can be a question now that's coming up where maybe for practical reasons you were holding on to something, but Eight of Cups is telling a different story where this can be alluding to you potentially asking yourself, even if you haven't made this decision yet, you can be asking yourself, is this something that I feel like is still going to be beneficial to me to hold on to? Like you're getting something from it, but you could be asking yourself, are you getting enough from it? And do you actually want to be there holding on to this? Or is this something that's holding you back now at this point? Having Eight of Cups, you can be asking yourself, does this make me happy now? Or is this something that resonates with me now? Do the negatives outweigh the positives or the positives outweigh the negatives, and trying to figure that out? I'm seeing you still making sense of this. I'm seeing that you are making progress, but you can feel like you're just as inconclusive as you were when you got started. But I'm seeing that things will be moving forward. This is just a time when there's something that's being worked out and it feels important, and it also feels like giving yourself the room and the space to actually move through this process and figure it out, rather than being like, I'm just uncomfortable and I want this to end immediately, and so I'm going to make a choice that may not actually be the right choice for me to be making. I feel like there's caution against doing that here. Something is going to clarify for you if this is something that you want to keep and stay, or if this is something where you are going to sort of put your focus and your attention elsewhere. I want to say this too, why this can be something that can feel a little bit unsure to you can be that whatever this Four of Pentacles is, it can be benefiting you in some ways, but at the same time, there can be ways that it's maybe not feeling like enough. And that's what's being figured out. So it's not like you're looking at something and being like, this has no benefit at all. It's like an easy no or pass, or I'm not going to be doing this anymore. This is something that can in some ways benefit you, but in other ways not feel like enough, and trying to figure out, well, what do I do with that then? Do I just like stick it out and try to see where it goes, or do I need to cut my losses here? Like, what do I need to do with this? That's what it looks like it's coming down to, and that's why this is a complicated process. And it doesn't feel like just make a decision and go with it. This feels like a time where there is a process that's going to be taking place, and it is going to be clarified for you what the best thing is, what the right move is for you to be making here. In the middle of the reading, it looks like a choice is going to be made. Something is going to be figured out. I'm seeing there be a bit of coloring outside of the lines. Okay. Choices that are being made. This can have to do with presently where you are versus some type of nostalgia. And there can also be some type of nostalgia that can be even inflicting a sense of turmoil or confusion onto things. That can be making it difficult to just see things presently as they actually are. Once this cycle is through, I get there being a sense, once this cycle of confusion is through, or figuring something out where like you're in this whole process, it feels like there's going to be a relief of, oh, I'm so glad I don't have to be dealing with that anymore. Definitely seeing this. This is the thing that would be getting in between what's being figured out here. Having Two of Swords and having Eight of Cups and having Seven of Cups, it's that, do I remain doing this? Do I not remain doing this? What do I do here? And it feels like once this gets figured out, the outcome is going to be Emperor and Two of Cups, which will feel you will feel in union with what you're doing and what you have going on and the way that you're moving through your life. The Emperor is concerned with all of the big important things that you have going on. So it can be your relationships, it can be your career, it can be your life in general, your purpose, what you're doing. To have Emperor and to have Two of Cups, that's you feeling at home once again with the way that you're leading your life and feeling like you have clarity about that, how to move forward. I'm where I'm supposed to be, I'm doing what I need to be doing, I'm showing up and doing things properly, those sorts of things. So what this is that's being figured out, it's basically going to clarify that for you so you can show up and pop up in a position where you feel like you're really in the right place doing the right stuff with your life. That's essentially what's going to be happening. So if you're feeling sort of at odds with yourself and stuff that's going on in some big areas of your life, this is the thing that is going to provide a sense of union once again with you and yourself and what you're doing, how you're showing up. I think something that's going to come to light is how your attachment to something from the past is impacting you presently. It feels more like specifically attachment to the past rather than, sometimes we experience things, and because of it being a time that we enjoyed or a time that we experienced, it can be something that we carry with us. And even though in the present moment it may not be reflective of that any longer, it can be difficult to recognize that because it can be hard to accept that something has shifted or something has changed, or maybe you're in a different place or something's not resonating with you in the same way. It feels like something along the lines of that is coming up, because I'm seeing there be this position that you've been playing, and at this point feeling kind of tired of doing this, of showing up in this way, and you can be feeling uninspired, you cannot be feeling super enthusiastic to play this role anymore, to play this part anymore. You can feel like it's actually really draining you a lot at this point, and you can also want the confusion or like the turmoil or this in-between feeling to come to an end. I do get the feeling that there may have to be some wiggle room that's created for you. There's a desire for things to feel new again, refreshed. Your connection to things. Going from something that feels like there's not really much left within it to connect to something that feels like it's overflowing with the type of connection that you're craving to experience. Yeah. Out of a feeling of like self-preservation or safety, you may be holding on to something that feels, there can be a part of you that's having a hard time accepting that something has shifted for you, that something has changed, that something is not any longer what it once was, and that you feel like you're being called to something that feels more full, that feels more connected within you. And it does look too like this is giving you the opportunity to close something out that you can feel like it's no longer working for you anymore. But you can also be like retiring a role that you've been playing so you can step into the next thing. Wanting to move forward rather than being stuck, and you can feel like you've been feeling quite stuck. But once you move in the direction of whatever this is that you're next connecting with, that you feel like there's actually something there to connect to, where it's providing a connection for you. Some of you, that's where you're going to be going. May not be just yet. Doubts that you've been having about your future, the direction of things. It feels like you're going to be switching out the batteries of something here, because you may have to make a choice that's going to be a difficult one, but it's for the sake of you feeling connected with your life in a way that maybe you haven't been feeling connected with, Capricorn. I do get the feeling that something may be difficult to sort of wrap your head around completely. Having Two of Cups and having Six of Cups can be something that for a long time you've been connected with, but at the same time it can be something that there's pain involved in this process now at this point. It can be like emotionally and mentally what you're experiencing. But it feels like the pain is coming from sort of the offset between what something once was versus what it is now, and those not being, it's not the same thing anymore. And that can be difficult to bear the weight of, just mentally sort of accepting that. And it can be something that's really difficult to see, but once there's the I'm recognizing this, I'm really allowing myself to see that, the path is going to be made clear. Things won't be so confusing anymore, and then you're going to feel like you're coming back to yourself here with this. But in the very center of this spread, it looks like something is going to be ending that is something that you can feel needs to be closed out, like something that you're going to be surrendering, something that you're going to be releasing, freeing yourself of, but only so that you can move forward with things. So yeah, there could have been really a deep resistance you've been feeling, that you'd been experiencing, to recognizing that something now is no longer what it was. Like you don't have the same feelings about it any longer. Like you don't feel the same way anymore. And it's about like what the situation is and where you are with things, and then what that sort of equals as far as the experience that you're having. But it could have been something that was difficult to recognize just because of what this brought up for you, the questions that this brings up for you then about like you and your life and your sense of belonging and what you're doing and those sorts of things. This could have put a big question mark on that. But as this is being accepted, it feels like there's really going to be a lot of forward movement, even though the next, where you're stepping next, it can feel like you feel a weight of responsibility upon you, and that you have to make a choice that's for the best, but it may also be something that's a bit painful too, simultaneously. So you can do something for yourself and for your life and know, this is the right choice for me to be making for myself, and I'm really showing up and I'm really taking responsibility for my life here and what I'm doing, and know that this is my choice. At the same time, it can be something that's painful to do. At the same time, it can be something that's difficult to do. And it can be a big challenge because of that, because of having to do like the right thing and the responsible thing for you and for your life, and at the same time that being like the more difficult thing to do here. Or knowing that I have to do this and I have to bear the weight of that, or bear the pain of accepting that this is the way that I must go. But you can feel at the same time, like if you don't do this, that you can question, like, what am I living for? What am I even doing? It feels like that. Almost feels futile to be showing up if you just stay within a situation, because it may not feel like your life so much anymore. Could be feeling like you're living for something else. And then have you feeling despondent is the word that's coming through. I wonder too if there's just been like this hopelessness about you and your place within the future and where things are going. Like you could have been feeling really drained and just like not inspired, not excited about where things are going, not the normal like I'm optimistic about my future and what I have going on and where things are going. This feels like I haven't been feeling like that, because there's something that all my energy has been going into trying to resolve, and I've been really trying to make sense of something here that's been feeling confusing, that I've been feeling really thrown off about. Yeah. I do get the sense sort of feeling like you've outgrown something, or just that it's not what it was before. And that being challenging, really challenging. I do get the sense, though, that there's an understanding of things now, and it is pushing you in a direction where you can feel that things will. This is just what needs to be done, and that you will come out on the other side of it, and that this is actually a good thing for you, too. Something you've been holding on to for reasons of security and safety, but also something that you feel disconnected from. But then shifting into a position where you're looking at what does have something that you can connect to and going with that option. And that sort of being the choice that's being made here. And allowing what needs to end to come to a close. Because I feel this sense of maybe you've been like milking something or holding on to something that you know it's not, like, you're not really connected to it anymore. That doesn't mean that you weren't, because in the past you could have felt really connected with something like that. This is where I'm meant to be. This is what's resonating with me, but it doesn't really stand. Like, it doesn't have that hold for you anymore. And that being the moment of recognition of, like, there's something next or something more that I'm meant to be connecting with. And that being the thing that ends up informing you. I do feel like part of the reason why you may have been resistant to recognizing this is just because of what that means then, and that can be like a painful truth, a moment where it's like a painful truth of taking that in. And also what that means for like your nostalgia as it relates to just your history and your past, and what that means for your life now. In problem solving and making this choice, it feels like it's going to allow you to feel enthusiastic once again about what you're doing and your future, and you actually feeling like really inspired to live your life and to show up and do what needs to be done. As that may be the opposite of what you've been feeling as you've been going through this, and it's going to like give that back to you. You can also just feel too, like in general, there are more than enough responsibilities that you have, and you can feel tired, and add this situation on top of everything that you're dealing with and everything that you're going through. It can just have you feeling like, some of you can be feeling depressed, you can be feeling unmotivated, you can be feeling sort of like you just don't even want to do anything. Because even though I'm not seeing like the normal 10 of Swords here where it feels like so much going on and you're so overwhelmed, this feels like maybe even past the point of that, to maybe even feeling numb sometimes. Maybe even just wanting to do absolutely nothing, like no motivation. And that feeling abnormal for you, because you know that when you're connected with the right stuff, you have that well of inspiration and motivation that you can pull from to get things moving and to do things. Now this can be like you feel like you're really forcing yourself to do a lot of things, and this is something that's going to bring you back into a place where authentically you have that motivation to show up, and you feel like you're doing something worthwhile and connected where you're meant to be connected. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.